I'm originally from Benton Harbor, Michigan, which is a really small town. I grew up there from birth up until around 7th grade until I moved to Wisconsin. I left my father to gun violence on March 30th in 2015. We stayed those 2 extra years in Michigan because my mom wanted my brother to finish out his high school career. I didn't really want to move here in the first place. I wanted to stay home, but home had already taken so much away from me that I knew it was, now I know it was the best choice, but back then, of course, being so young, all I was thinking about was, oh, I'm leaving home, I'm leaving my friends, I'm leaving my school, and I gotta start all over, and I just lost my father. My mom, she brought it up to me one day. She was like, hey, they have a Boys and Girls Club here, and it was Thursday, so it was family night. She was like, and they have a family night, I really want us to go. And I was like, no. And she was like, well, you don't really have a choice. So, because she noticed, she's a mom, she noticed her daughter wasn't happy. She knows my character and she knows my personality. I'm very bubbly and outgoing and just all around friendly person, and that's not who I was. And so she knew she had to, get me out and get me to start enjoying life again. I was so anxious. It was the first time in a long time I was around kids my age. My hands were sweaty, my heart was racing. I felt like everybody was staring at me. But I ended up enjoying it. The staff was so nice. They immediately approached me with open arms. They started introducing me to other girls that are still my friends to this day. I really did enjoy that night. It was the first time in a long time I was actually happy and enjoying myself. I was around kids my age, and I saw that the club, even before I was actually a member, I already could see that it had so many opportunities. When they broke it down to me, like, this is the teen room, they have the gym, they have the arts, and they have the art room. I could already see that they really loved their kids and that they wanted them to be great. So my mom asked me at the end of the night, once family night was over, she was like, do you want this? I can sign you up and you can become a member and you can come every day after school. And immediately I was like, yes. Like, I think this is gonna be something that's gonna turn around how I've been feeling lately. So when I first started coming to the club, of course I loved the teen room. And then I got introduced to things like Keystone. When I first joined Keystone, I was just a member. But then as I kept coming to the club, I eventually became Keystone president, and I got to start planning our own activities. We went on field trips, so that was another thing I really enjoyed. Even just a small community service we would do, like go outside and pick up trash. It was nice because I was doing it with friends. They go on a really big trip every year, and this year was Washington, D.C., and I was one of the members picked to go on the trip. My mom said yes, and it was so fun. For one, it was like the first night was like a really big sleepover because I came to the club, I had my bags packed, everyone's in their PJs and their slippers, and we're all watching TV, playing the game, walking around the building. And so the first night, I already knew this was gonna be a great trip because I felt like I was at a big sleepover with all my friends. And then we actually got to Washington, D.C., and it was amazing. I'm not a city girl, I'm not from the city, but when I got there and I saw all the big buildings and bright lights and traffic, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so different from Michigan and Wisconsin. And then one day they were like, we're gonna tour university. And I'm in 8th grade at the time, so I'm like, well, I don't have to worry about college. What are you going to university for? And it turned out to be Howard. And when I stepped foot on campus, I was like, wow. I'm like, people attend here? And they were like, yes. And I was like, Black scholars attend here? And they were like, yes, this is where Black scholars is made. This is one of the best HBCUs for that. And at that moment, I knew I wanted to go to Howard University. I had been through so much. I was tired. I was just starting to get my personality back. And then I go on this amazing trip. I wind up at this amazing university. And for the first time in a long time, I had a little bit of clarity. I'm like, I didn't have an overall goal, but then when I stepped foot on that campus, that was my overall goal. I was, again, in middle school. I knew I was about to go to high school next year. I'm like, these next 4 years, I'm going to work my butt off so I can get into this school. And I knew. Each time someone asked me from that day forward, where are you going? Howard. What school do you want to go to? Howard University. From that day forward, I kept putting it out there in the air because I knew that's where I wanted to go. You hear students apply for at least 16, 20 schools. I only applied for 2 because that's how confident I was in myself and how tired I was from all the late nights of studying that I was going to get in. And so, like I said, from that day forward, that was my goal, to get there. And I made it. So when I look back at little 8th grade Elijah, I'm like, wow, I have come a long way. And I can't neglect the fact that club contributed to it. That would be so false for me to say I did this all on my own. I had the support of my mom, my grandparents, aunts and uncles, but then I also had the support of the club. When I picked that school as my dream school, they definitely saw that, and they supported me every step through it. They helped me with applications, they helped me with essays, they helped me with resumes, they helped me any way they can. Anytime I had a question, they were willing to answer it, whether it was as simple as, okay, where do I go to find application, to things to the nature of like financial aid, like, oh, how do I fill out a FAFSA, or to even things of like, even when I was discouraged, am I actually gonna get in? Am I a good enough student to get in? So they were there every step of the way. Any question I had, any problem that popped up, they made sure to let me know that they had my back through the whole thing. Club made me realize I had a story, that it was far from ordinary, and I was far from ordinary. So I just want to say thank you for helping me reach my potential and giving me a backbone, essentially, that I can stand on my own 2 feet and be confident in the person I am. Because walking in originally, I was shy, timid. I knew I wasn't being myself. I knew there was more that could come out of me, and the club brought that out, and they gave me that backbone, and I can stand on my own 2 feet and tell you who I am, tell you what I want, and tell you how I got there. And I can't neglect the fact that the club helped me get there. So it's really just a big thank you to the club and everyone who's been there for me. Yeah, I definitely love this place. And I wouldn't say, the last thing I can say is like, definitely bring your kids here. And I loved every step of the way, everything I did through the club and everything they taught me. It was definitely the highlight of my life. It brought me out of such a dark place, and I can't do anything but thank all the staff members, thank all the friends I made along the way. And yeah, it's just a big thank you, really.